Alan Ritchson's Reacher reveals a hidden skill I'm amazed he's actually good at. Jack Reacher is very smart and obviously incredibly strong in Reacher, but he's not always the best when it comes to dealing with people. In the hit Prime Video show, Reacher likes to spend a lot of his time on his own and has a hard time letting people in, which explains why many of his interactions end with punches being thrown. However, as the series has progressed, it has become evident that the former military officer is capable of forming special connections with people. In the first season of the series, Reacher grew close to both Roscoe and Finley. In Season 2, he was shown to have deep connections with characters like Neagley, Carla, and O'Donnell. Now, in Reacher Season 3, he is forming an unlikely bond with Richard, the son of Zachary Beck. Richard and, of course, Reacher are two of the best characters in Reacher Season 3, so watching their interactions is always entertaining. Additionally, it is surprising that Reacher has been a great father figure for Richard in the new season. Reacher is a surprisingly great father figure in Season 3. While working undercover and living under Zachary Beck's roof, Reacher has had multiple interactions with Richard in Season 3. In Season 3, Episode 4, Reacher takes Richard into town and actually saves him from a group of bullies. Not only does Reacher defend Richard, but he brutally beats on the bullies to make sure they never give him a hard time again. This brutal beatdown and their other interactions in Season 3 has led Richard to trust Reacher more than his own father. Richard doesn't have much love for his father, but has quickly learned to feel safe around Reacher. This becomes evident in Season 3, Episode 5, when Richard listens to Reacher and locks himself in his room rather than joining his father downstairs. Richard doesn't have much love for his father, but has quickly learned to feel safe around Reacher. Furthermore, Reacher teaching Richard how to properly fight is perhaps the most fatherly thing he has done in the series. Overall, I have been consistently shocked by how great of a father figure Reacher has been in Season 3 of the Prime Video series. Based on his lifestyle, it would be very surprising if Reacher ever decided to have children of his own. After all, he is constantly on the move throughout the United States and often finds himself in deadly situations. However, in Reacher Season 2, the possibility of the titular character possibly settling down came up. During one of their conversations at the diner in Season 2, Reacher admitted to O'Donnell that he could see himself settling down eventually. However, when Reacher said this, he meant finding a partner to commit to. Therefore, he has never claimed that he is interested in having children. Throughout the show's run, Reacher has had several love interests, such as Roscoe, Carla, and most recently, Susan Duffy. Therefore, it wouldn't necessarily be surprising if he did eventually settle down. However, unless he drastically changed his lifestyle, I would be shocked if Reacher ever decided it was a good idea to have kids in Reacher. When you think of Alan Ritchson's portrayal of Jack Reacher, the first things that come to mind are probably sheer physicality, stoic confidence, and a no-nonsense sense of justice. He is a human wrecking ball who can calculate trajectories and crush windpipes with the same calm precision. But while fans of Reacher on Prime Video have rightly praised his brooding charisma and authentic embodiment of Lee Child's literary hero, there's one thing about his performance that surprised me more than his ability to make snapping arms look effortless. Alan Ritchson is surprisingly funny. Yes, funny. And not in the goofy, punchline-chasing way we expect from sitcom stars. No, Ritchson's Reacher reveals a hidden skill. Deadpan, razor-sharp comedic timing delivered with the subtlest facial cues and body language. It's the kind of humor that doesn't announce itself with a drumroll. It sneaks up, lands with surgical precision, and leaves you wondering, wait, did he just make me laugh during a murder investigation? It's a hidden talent masked behind his square-jawed intensity. In Season 1, and even more so in Season 2, Ritchson threads a fine line between Reacher's silent strength and his dry, almost unintentional wit. It feels real, like the kind of humor someone who's seen too much and talks too little would deliver. Take, for instance, the way he responds to threats. Reacher rarely says much, but when he does, the lines hit like perfectly timed grenades. There's that unforgettable exchange in Season 1. A goon growls something about burying him, and Reacher, without blinking, says, "You'll need a bigger shovel." That line could have fallen flat with the wrong delivery. But Ritchson knows exactly how long to hold a stare, how to let silence breathe, and when to drop the line like a weight. This isn't accidental. It's a skill. Timing like that, especially with so little dialogue, requires more than muscle memory. It takes instinct, precision, and a deep understanding of tone. Let's not forget that humor is rarely what we expect or demand from our action heroes. Sure, some come with built-in charm, see Tony Stark, but Jack Reacher has always been a serious, almost mysterious figure. In the books, he cracks a dry joke every so often, but it's often internal, philosophical, or acerbic. Translating that into screen charisma without softening the character is a tall order. And yet, Ritchson does it, not by cracking jokes, but by embodying them. One scene in Season 2 is practically a masterclass in this. Reacher is interrogating a suspect who refuses to take him seriously, mocking his size and demeanor. Instead of reacting violently or even angrily, Reacher just stares, then responds in the flattest, driest voice, "You're not very good at this, are you?" It's not just funny, it's intimidating because it's funny. That moment makes you laugh and lean back. The timing, the restraint, the understated menace. It's brilliant. And let's not ignore the way Ritchson uses physical comedy without ever breaking character. The way Reacher walks into a room and immediately scans it, towering over people, creating this awkward, almost cartoonish contrast between his size and everyone else's. Or the way he sits in diner booths that clearly weren't made for his frame, his knees practically touching his chest, all of it adds levity without betraying the tension. It's a delicate dance, and Ritchson waltzed through it like a pro. What makes this hidden talent even more fascinating is that it's not something Ritchson was known for in his earlier roles. Sure, he had some lighthearted moments in Blue Mountain State, and he played a comic book-style Aquaman on Smallville, but nothing hinted that he would bring this kind of refined, character-driven wit to a dramatic role like Reacher. It's a creative evolution, one that's not just welcome but essential. Because without it, Reacher might have risked becoming just another action figure. The humor also humanizes him. In the world of Reacher, which is often brutal, gray, and morally murky, these little glimmers of humor provide a surprising emotional anchor. They make him feel real, like someone who isn't just a blunt instrument of justice, but a person with quirks, habits, and yes, a hidden sense of humor that's as sharp as his fists. I also suspect that this is something Ritchson brings naturally, not just as an actor, but as a person. If you follow him off-screen, on podcasts, interviews, or social media, you'll notice he's surprisingly playful, often self-deprecating, and very aware of his image. He knows he looks like the kind of guy who could rip a phone book in half. He also knows that playing into that image with a wink, even if the character never actually winks, makes his Reacher feel fresh, unexpected, and, dare I say, fun. It's one thing to have the look, the muscles, and the presence. But it's another thing entirely to know how to surprise an audience, to take a role that could be one-dimensional and inject it with nuance, humor, and authenticity. That's the real hidden skill Alan Ritchson reveals in Reacher, not just his ability to beat the bad guys, but to do it with an almost invisible wink.